Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining our September webinar we're conducting today regarding 10 things you should know about tablet users. I'm your presenter, Tony Marino. I'm a user experience specialist here at Usability Sciences. I've worked here for about 8 years. I've run a variety of studies using a variety of different methodologies, tested pretty much every industry you can think of, everything from websites to tablet or mobile devices, gaming systems, field studies, all of that fun stuff. And one of the things we've been focusing on lately is how tablets are starting to affect usability, especially as they're becoming more and more prevalent across technology users. I know your time is valuable, so we're actually going to keep the presentation to around 20 minutes or so. We may run a little bit over, but we will follow it by some question and answers. So if you're on the GoToMeeting, you should be able to see a question and answer feature there. So if you can pose any questions there, and I'll get to as many as I can once we're done. We'll also be providing you with a copy of this presentation later. You'll also be able to find it on our blog site, usability.com, as well as our corporate site, usabilitysciences.com. So what we're going to look at today is exactly how we collected the data and how we were able to draw conclusions from that data, so what we learned. Then we'll go through a brief summary talking about all of the different things that we're going to cover here today. And then again, we'll go through that question and answer portion of the presentation. So, first of all, how did we acquire this info regarding tablet usage? Well, what we did is we actually put together a tablet survey, and we shared it via the following methods. We actually sent it out to our US database, recruiting database of over 3,000 participants, and of those that were tablet owners, we actually had them take the survey of their own accord. We also reached out through social media networks using Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, as well as LinkedIn groups that we're a part of. And then we used basic emails. We sent out the survey to friends, family, those we knew, asked them to share it with everyone. And through these methods, we were able to collect 355 completed surveys. So of those 355 completes, 62% of those participants were female, 38% were male, had a variety of household incomes. And the interesting thing here about the household incomes for tablet owners is you'll notice that as the average household income increases, so does the number of participants. So that's a little telling there to let us know that those who are tablet owners tend to have be on the higher end of household incomes than those on the lower end. Age range wise, our biggest mix was between the ages of 25 and 54, with the largest group range or age range being 35 to 44 at 32%. So this tells us here that most tablet owners are middle-aged. They are kind of already established in their careers, hence the higher household income. And they're the ones who are interacting or out there making purchases for tablets today. Of those 355, the interesting thing is half of our users actually had no children under the age of 18 in the household. As we start seeing the addition of children under the age of 18, we start seeing the amount of tablet ownership go down. We can only speculate here, but imagine, with kids, you tend to have a lot of other responsibilities, perhaps not as much a downtime, and so a tablet is something that is not as much of a priority for someone who might have a little more time on their hands with an empty household here. So what sort of devices or tablets are users purchasing today? Well, of those that we recruited for this survey, whopping 62% were actually Apple iPad owners. So as expected, iPad is the predominant tablet owned across survey participants, and I imagine that's true for the domestic United States. Amazon Kindle Fire came in at 11% of tablet owners, followed by Samsung at 7% and HP at 3%, as well as Asus. And then we've got some other brand names following here. Interesting thing here is that Google Nexus 7 has gotten lots of great reviews, but it is pretty new on the market, and so that's why those numbers are kind of low. It'll be interesting to see where that tablet ends up as more and more start to hear about it and take advantage of it. Another interesting metric here is that The Amazon Kindle Fire had 11% ownership, whereas the Nook, which many consider to be the direct competitor of the Kindle Fire, was only 2% here. So Kindle Fire right now is, at least among our survey participants, winning that competition there. So based off of these different users and gathering this different information, we were able to extract kind of 10 things that we felt we could safely say about tablet users and where they are with their usage and what they're actually doing here. The first thing that was really interesting among tablet owners surveyed was that tablets were the primary device that they used across their various devices, be it their laptop or computers, their desktop computers, or their smartphones. When we asked what surprised users most about their tablet, most stated one of these following 3 answers. How easy it was for them to use, how often they actually use it, and actually how much more they use it than their smartphone or their computer. And so right now, a lot of the different things that they used to do on their smartphone versus their laptops or their computers, they're now finding that they can combine all of those tasks and do them from one device, which is their tablet. The main attributes that tablet users appreciated most about their tablets were, for one, the portability. They can use it almost anywhere. The large screen and clarity of images, so that large screen is great for reading books, magazines, watching movies, looking at photos, and then also the number of apps that were available to them. So users like to do a variety of different things on their tablets, and a ton of the mobile apps out there also convert to their tablets, and so they're very appreciative of those because they've got the larger screen to interact with them. Of the 355 participants we surveyed, 150, or 42% of that 355, purchased their tablets sometime last year within 2011, while 165 participants, 46%, purchased their tablets sometime this year between January and August. So it's interesting that we're already seeing more purchases of tablets this year than we did all of last year, based on this metric here, and we haven't even hit the Christmas season yet. So you can see that tablet ownership is going to be increasing exponentially here. A whopping 85% of tablet owners rated their satisfaction a 6 or higher on a scale of 1 to 7, with 7 being very satisfied and 1 being not at all satisfied. So 85% of users loving their tablets to purchase, so that means they're not really experiencing any buyer's remorse, if you will. And so you can imagine that they're going to continue to utilize that tablet and keep that tablet once they own it. The second thing we were able to extract from the data was that website browsing was a top activity across tablet owners on their tablets. Browsing websites was a primary activity for 89% of our participants when utilizing their tablet. When asked to indicate which device they utilize most for browsing websites, 55% stated that they actually use their tablets most across all of their devices. Desktop and laptops were selected by 39% of those surveyed as their primary web browsing tool, where only 6% of users stated their smartphone was their preferred web browsing device. So once you own a tablet, users are finding themselves utilizing that more for basic web browsing than they do even their desktops or laptops. One interesting thing here is specific to retail sites and apps on tablets. Product pricing and comparing products were the top reasons users visited both retail sites and apps on their tablets. Visit intent for retail sites and apps differed only slightly. Mobile websites or a full website on a tablet versus an app that you've downloaded and visited, the intents were slightly different. However, the top intent remained the same. If you look at our first bullet here, determining and or comparing products was a primary intent for both retail sites on apps, which was 87% of users, app users 83%. The second most important task for app users specifically was actually finding a store location at 74%. We rationalized that the reason for this is because users tend to consider apps to have a geolocation built in, so use my current location to find a store location around where I currently am. Whereas websites, they typically think of those as more general and product browsing. And so with retail sites on apps, the second most important task for users was to actually just determine if the product was available. And so this tells us that if you are building a retail app, to ensure that finding a store location is high on the list of things that are easy to do for participants if they are visiting the app, versus a retail site, making sure that your products are easy to find and easy to compare. When we ask users which sites they actually visit most, it was very interesting that the top three, or some of the top three sites that users selected as their most visited sites via their tablet were Amazon.com, Newegg, and eBay. So again, this just tells you the importance of that comparison feature when looking for products through a tablet. Another interesting fact that we were able to pull was that in terms of actual merchandise purchases, users actually use their tablets nearly as much to make online purchases as they do their desktop or laptops. When we asked users which device they primarily use to purchase merchandise, 49%, about half, designated their desktop or laptop computer as their primary means for making purchases online. However, 45% of these tablet owners say that their tablet was a primary device for purchases. So we're starting to see users make purchases through tablets more and more, and so I don't doubt that by this time next year, or perhaps even over Christmas, you'll start seeing tablet owners begin to make more purchases via their tablet, via their actual computers or laptops. When asked specifically if they use their tablets to purchase products to be shipped or delivered, 76% of retail website users, so visiting a retail website through their tablet, said that they make purchases for delivery via their tablet. Of the 232 users who actually told us that they download apps for their tablet, 69% of them stated that they had downloaded a shopping app or a retail app, and of those that had downloaded that shopping app, 70% have utilized these apps to actually make purchases. So people are out there spending money. And that's our next point here, that users aren't afraid to spend money. Almost half of the 290 users who had made purchases using their tablets within the last 3 months said they spent $300 or more within the last 3 months via their tablet, with the largest percentage spending more than $500. So if we actually take a look at this table here, you'll notice that 20% of tablet owners, of those who have made purchases, of the 290 here, said that they've spent $300 to $500 within the last 3 months via their tablets. However, 27%, an even higher percentage, said that they've spent more than $500. So what are users actually purchasing when they're making purchases to their tablets? Well, 55% of our participants said that they typically purchase books or magazines for reading, again, because of that large screen, so it's much easier to read, plus the portability makes it easy for them to access. But also the same percentage of users also said that they typically purchase clothing or accessories with their tablet. So big opportunity out there for retail sites to really kind of show vibrant images via tablets and help users make those buying decisions. Other popular purchases via tablet owners were things like event tickets, so movie or sporting events or concerts at 41%. Beauty products, again, 62% were female users, but beauty was a huge purchase for them at 40%, and then music and movies and video were 34%. So a lot of this can be attributed to certain apps such as Groupon or Living Social, things where they're able to get things discounted. They receive alerts about certain sales, but they are typically utilizing these through their tablets as opposed to their smartphones. Again, touching back on that average household income, just to kind of really drive that point home, tablet owners tended to earn higher household incomes in terms of who the demographic was. If we look here, out of 355 users, 17% earned $100 to $124 or $125,000, and then 23%, our largest group of participants, actually earned $125,000 or more. And so, the reason people aren't afraid to spend money is because they have it. So it's really, this shows that it's paramount to optimize, tablets or mobile websites for participants, especially those retail sites. 62% again of those surveyed actually own the higher price iPad, and so that tends to show that they do have a higher income. However, with the advent of lower cost tablets coming out and starting to grow that market, it'll be interesting to see if that average income actually changes over the course of the next year. Another interesting fact we were able to pull from the data is that tablets are used mostly at the home or on the go. Users tend to interact with their tablets most when they're either at home, sitting in the den of their bedroom, or when they're waiting or traveling or just relaxing. If we look at this table here, you'll see that the living room or the den was the location in which users most often or always use their tablet, with 81% stating that they typically use it there. The bedroom came in second at 69%, and then travel and commuting, so this is if you're on a train or a bus or you're on a plane, 58% are utilizing their tablets then. Relaxing away from home, so maybe you're on vacation, you're typically taking your tablet with you because of the portability. And then maybe if you're waiting at the DMV or you're waiting in line for something, 46% of users stated that they typically use their tablets during that type of scenario. In contrast, users said that they seldom, if ever, use their tablets in these locations. School, 73% said that they seldomly or never use their tablets. 57% said that they never use it at a relative or friend's home, and then 44% at work. As we'll show you here a little bit later, lower usage in school and work is most likely due to lack of functionality of tablets to create or maintain documents or spreadsheets. So thinking about when you're using Office or when you're using some other work-related program, you've got keyboard shortcuts, you've got a variety of different features and functions that you can perform with documents or spreadsheets, where the tablet perhaps might fall short in allowing users to have that same type of functionality and versatility. So there might be a little opportunity there as tablets evolve to make them more so kind of like a laptop or a desktop, where you just might have some of those additional features, and so we'll see what happens there. Tablets mostly, if you couldn't tell already, are primarily used for leisurely activities. Participants were asked to indicate which device they primarily use to complete a variety of different things, and below are the activities that in which tablets were the primary device used. Of course, social networking here, you'll see 47% of users stated they use their tablets the most for social networking, so posting pictures and just giving Twitter updates, things of that nature. Browsing websites, again, we've already touched on this here, but 55% of tablet owners use their tablets more for browsing websites than they do their desktop or laptop, which was 39%. I went ahead and threw this one in here, purchase merchandise, just to show you how closely tablets are competing with desktop or laptops for online purchases. Desktop or laptops were 49%, but tablets were right behind at 45%. And then tablets also dominated in downloading and listening to music. So again, when you're on the go, they're portable. It's nice to listen to. And then even a higher percentage for downloading, watching TVs or movies or videos. Again, because of the portability, large screen, and so you're less time to boot up. So a lot of advantages to doing that on a tablet versus a desktop or laptop or the smaller screen with a smartphone. And then also to play games. I know that I like playing Angry Birds more on my tablet than I do on my smartphone, just because it's larger. And a lot of those are apps, so they don't exist on the desktop, and so it's no wonder that the tablet is dominating there on playing games. And then also reading magazines and newspapers, as well as reading books. Again, larger screen, You've got the touch interface, the touch screen interface, whereas laptops a little more bulky. You don't really have the ability to download stuff as much as you would with the different iTunes Store and Google Play apps through Android. And then just the smaller screen with the smartphones doesn't make them ideal for these types of activities. So a lot of leisurely activities that users are using their tablets for. On the contrary, however, there are certain tasks, non-leisure related tasks, that we're seeing that users aren't using their tablets for. Send and receive emails. So this is interesting because sending and receiving emails was something that users said that they do a lot through their tablet. However, when we surveyed them, the majority stated they either use their smartphone or their desktop versus their tablet. So we can only speculate that this is perhaps because with a desktop or laptop, you're using this most at work, where a lot of users said they don't use their tablets at work, and so you're receiving your emails, sending and receiving through your desktop or laptop. Or if you're someone who's on the go, maybe you have a sales job, your smartphone is typically going to have connectivity, more connectivity than say a tablet that may be Wi-Fi only. So if you're in an area that does not have Wi-Fi and you don't have a 3G or 4G connectivity, then the smartphone is going to be a way to go. So that's just speculative there, but that's what we felt perhaps could be the reason why the smartphone and desktop usage was higher for sending and receiving emails. And then using the calendar feature, again, on the go. So you're receiving reminders there on your phone as you're for meetings and whatnot. Locate driving directions. Again, a tablet is a little less or is a little more unwieldy than say a smartphone when you're getting driving directions. Also, because of the connectivity issues with tablets, whereas some may not have the 3G or 4G, if you're driving down the road and you're kind of getting audio directions, you may not be able to get those full directions based on coverage, connectivity coverage, whereas your smartphone typically has coverage everywhere, assuming you're in a heavily covered area. And then again, the creating and maintaining of documents as well as spreadsheets. We can see that desktops and laptops are dominating there, again because of the available functionality through a desktop and laptops, such as keyboard shortcuts and other features which are currently not available through most tablet devices. But if we start to see an increase in that type of functionality, we may start to see a shift here in terms of the tablets being used more for work functions than the desktop or laptop. And then our last point that we were able to pull here was just the overall increase in usage that users are expecting, tablet owners are expecting with their tablets as they begin to utilize them more and more. Over half of those that we surveyed indicated that they expect to see an increase in their tablet usage over the next 6 months, with 57% stating they expect to see an increase. 41% saw their usage staying the same. Well, because tablet usage is already pretty high for everything, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Only 2% felt that their tablet usage would actually decrease. And so a big future there for tablets. With the frequency of tablet purchases on the rise and the advent of less expensive tablets on the market, the focus on tablet-friendly sites and apps should be paramount for retailers and just websites and apps alike. So these are kind of the main metrics and conclusions we were able to pull from that survey data. So I just wanted to briefly review them again. Our first point here is just that tablets will become the dominant device in the future. Again, for tablet owners, they already are. And as more and more folks have access to tablets, we see that usage increasing and perhaps taking over that of the smartphone as well as the desktop or laptop computers. Also, website browsing is a top activity with tablets. We see users actually utilizing, tablet owners actually utilizing their tablets more for website browsing than their own desktop computers or their smartphones. So very interesting there. The ease of pricing or comparing products is critical for users who visit retail websites or utilize retail apps. So they're out there trying to find out, how much is this going to cost me, or how does this product compare to this other product. So having a product comparison feature as well as easily available pricing is going to be critical for retail websites as well as retail apps. It's also interesting that tablets are being used almost as much for merchandise purchases as desktop computers or laptops. So as owners begin to increase that usage, you can imagine that their increase in purchases will, through their tablets, will also increase, perhaps, and surpass that of computers. Also, tablet owners aren't afraid to spend money on purchases. As we saw, tablet owners are making just as many purchases through their tablet as they are through their desktop or laptops, and they're spending anywhere from $300 to $500 or more, over the period of 3 months via their tablets. So you want to make sure that you're doing everything you can to present products and pricing easily and clearly to participants, just to ensure that they're getting all the information they need to make a buying decision. Also, the average household income right now for tablet owners is actually pretty high. The majority of which are making $100,000 or more, and that's because the iPad itself is a higher end tablet, costing anywhere from $500 to $700 based on the model that you get, and so those iPad users tend to come from higher income backgrounds. So it'll be interesting to see how some of the lower priced tablets, such as the Samsung, the Kindle Fire, which is now coming out with the HD version, as well as the Google Nexus 7. It'll be interesting to see how they do in the future, and if they're able to compete with iPad, who right now has a grip on the market, as well as get those lower income users. Tablets are used most at home or on the go, so again, this is partially because users are primarily using their tablets for leisurely activities, so they're using it when they're relaxing, they're using it when they're traveling, or just when they're kind of waiting around looking to pass some time. However, tablets aren't dominating yet for everything. For things like getting directions, smartphones are still the key device that users are utilizing there. When it comes to maintaining or creating documents, tablets just can't compete with the functionality of desktops or laptop computers. So there's certainly an opportunity there to increase the ease of use for those types of programs. And then finally, tablet usage is on the rise. Several tablet owners stated that they see their tablet usage increasing, especially as the capabilities increase there with their tablets. They're already using their tablets for the majority of things that they used to do on their smartphones or desktop computers, and that usage is only going up. So with that, I will open it up to any questions here. So let me take a look at any Q&A we have.